Good afternoon, everybody. We have BC Clark with the Nebraska Enterprise Fund with us today, and she's going to discuss it further, but we're actually changing our topic just a tiny bit. And BC is going to be talking about something that I think everybody is interested in starting a new business, and that's finding access to your capital. So BC, if you want to go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I do apologize to all of the participants. However, we were going to talk about finance and pricing. However, our speaker wasn't available. But I think this is extremely relevant to a lot of the small businesses, and that's how to access capital. I mean, that's what I've been hearing so much about. How do I go and access a loan? So today I'd like this to be kind of a Q&A. So please ask me questions. But I want to get started with just talking about some of the things we can do to access capital. And the one thing, and most people will say, oh, well, you want to make sure that your credit score is available. No, those are things you probably know. But I want to talk to you about some of the resources that are available to you as a small business. And one of those are, if you are not bankable right at this moment, there are other resources like, for instance, and I'll just kind of talk a little bit about the Nebraska Enterprise Fund. Again, my name is BC Clark, and I am a Director of Training and Client Development with the Nebraska Enterprise Fund. Now, we have several different types of resources and for loans and for you to access capital. However, I think a lot of individuals say, well, I didn't know that they did loans. I don't even know who Nebraska Enterprise Fund is. So let me give you a little bit of information on them. We've been around for over 25 years. We mainly work with small business loans. We do that, but training is a huge thing, a huge part of our provisions. We do a lot of training because what we found out over time is that with our small businesses, they may start their business, but a lot of times they don't get all the education and information they need to go forth and become successful. So there's training on marketing. There's training on how to make sure that you're managing your business well, looking at that business in a way that it should be healthy. Are we putting away reserves? So all of those things come into play when you have a small business. Now, and then being able to access capital when you need it, because a lot of times we're running from, vendor to vendor to vendor to vendor to pay those. And oftentimes we may not have reserves that we would have in the event if there was an interruption or something like that. Now, I'll talk about the interruptions a little bit later, because there are some things I think that are key for us to do as small businesses. And one of those is to make sure that we do stay up on our record keeping. Okay, record keeping is so huge. And not only that, but it's like a track record for you. It's history when you have to go to a lender or an investor to show how your company is doing. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this. And we have classes all the time that's on record keeping. We have them on cash flow management, how to actually manage your finances. And we have some current things on insurance, taxes. So you want to make sure that you have all the information you need so that your business can be successful. Now, and then to tell you that, so Nebraska Enterprise Fund, we loan up to $150,000 for a small business. Okay. And we have the whole state of Nebraska, so it doesn't matter where you live. If you live in Nebraska, you could be eligible to get a loan from us. If you live in Southwest Iowa, you're eligible to come to us for a loan. And we require some of the same things. We just don't have a lot of the restrictions that some of the larger lenders have, and we're not predatory. So we do have interest rates that are probably 2%. Are more a little bit higher than the banks and those major lenders, but we work out programs so that we make sure that you're able to pay that debt, so that you're not strapped or over in so much credit. We won't allow that to happen. We also have workshops that helps you to get your credit so that it becomes an asset for you. And so you'll see those classes coming out in January, between January and February, but all next year. We haven't released those as of yet because I just got certified in that credit building arena. So that's the one thing. But I want to tell you that we do have funds to loan. And I know a lot of businesses are out there struggling. And so I want you to be able to check out the Nebraska Enterprise Fund. Our website is www.nebbiz.org. So if you haven't heard of us, go and check us out. We also have a Facebook page, which is NEBBIZ. We normally post all of our workshops out there. There are some grant fundings that we have right now, and I want to talk to those a little bit later. But I wanted to say that, so we do have capital that you can access. And so depending on, and three things that we really look for. Number one, obviously, we want to look at your credit history. Now, a lot of times it doesn't tell the whole story. So we often want to make sure that we're meeting with you and gathering the other data that we need. But the other thing is to making sure that whatever you're asking or requesting, when you go to a lender, you want to make sure that you have notified, you've listed out the things that you need. So for instance, I want to buy a building for my business. Okay, and that building may be 125, 150,000. Now, when we say, can you cash flow this debt? What we're asking you is, are you able currently to pay all whatever bills you have right now, pay yourself and pay this debt? So we definitely want you to pay yourself. And we find that often when businesses are paying themselves, that they seem to have things more in order. But if you're not paying yourself, or you're waiting a year or two or three, you're going to lose interest, because if you're not getting paid and you're working, that's pretty tough. You're not going to work for somebody else and not get paid. So you certainly don't want to work for yourself and not get paid. So you want to make sure that when you're borrowing money, that you can afford it, because everything is a cost. We know that. But there's a cost to everything. So what we'd like to do is have you come to us and we can talk about it. We can sit down and brainstorm with you. Look at what your finances are. Look at what you can afford, and work out some kind of plan or that we can put in place for you. And if you're not quite ready to get a loan, but maybe let's build up the education piece, let's try to change and make sure that that credit score is where we want it to be, then those things we work on as well. We never turn anyone away. I've had individuals that have come to me with a score of like 490, and but within 6 to 8 months they were already past 600 and something. So it's, don't look at your situation and say, oh, it'll never change, I'm so far. That doesn't work. We just have to get up and get going and make some things happen. I would say that if you stay in the situation, nothing changes. But if you get the information you need, information can what you make you be successful. I always say the information brings revelation and transformation. So sometimes we have to renew our mind, our way of thinking, so that we're not always thinking that this is not going to work. So there is capital to be accessed. There are things you need to do. And I have to say, we have 5 individuals here in Omaha that's part of the Nebraska Enterprise Fund that can help you. So when you call our number, 402-685-5500, you have options. If you want a loan, you take this one. If you want education, you take this one, and then other. So you can always call that number, even if it's not a loan, even if it's just education. We want to make sure that you have what you need. That's our whole focus. When this organization was set up over 25 years ago, their goal was to make sure that small businesses could obtain capital for their businesses, because a lot of the banks were not doing that. Well, you have that opportunity now, and with a lot of education that can help your business grow and be everything that it needs to be, this is really a good opportunity for you. Now, during this pandemic, there's been a lot of businesses that are hurting. And so we want you to know that we have some grants out there that we think would be relevant for a lot of you. That will be extremely relevant for a lot of you. So I want to talk about those a little bit, because I know people may be interested in those. So here's what I want to tell you. On some of we have one right now, and it's called getting back to business, because as we know, with this pandemic, there was so many things that was going on that people are just now coming back. They're kind of getting back into it, but then our numbers are going back up again. So some of the businesses are having to cut down on some of the things that they were doing earlier. But this one is called Getting Back to Business. The application actually is on our website. And if you go to that www.nebbiz.org website that I gave you earlier, you can look under business resources, and there's a drop down and select getting back to business. The application comes over to you in a PDF format. Now, one of the requirements for that is that you would take our workshop, which is business resumption planning. And the reason why that one is important and the reason why this grant is for that is because a lot of businesses through this pandemic were kind of stuck, and some of them are still stuck. But they were stuck because they didn't have a plan on how to recover in the event of an interruption. Now, and we all know, I mean, that was an interruption. It was one that we hadn't had before in my lifetime, or probably yours. But the thing is that we must always have some kind of backup and recovery system in place, some kind of steps or procedures that we can go to right away whenever there's an interruption. That's what the business resumption plan is. So we have that workshop that's been going on for the last few weeks. I believe there's one on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. It's on Zoom. It's about an hour and a half, and it really talks about the things that you need to do to put in that plan. Today at 4:30 on Zoom, there's going to be a workshop that's called How to Write Your Business Resumption Plan. So we'll be giving you some tips and tools about how you can take that plan and what you need to put in it. Because whether it's a physical disaster, a disaster like with the pandemic or hurricane, whatever it is, there is procedures that you need to have written in the event of that. And that's what this business resumption plan is all about. Now, we also have, and if you need more information, you can check out our website, but you can also call 402-685-5500, extension 201, and we can give you all the information that you need. Now, we have another grant where if you don't have any kind of accounting system for your business, we're offering QuickBooks training. Now, with the QuickBooks training, though, you're getting a laptop that has QuickBooks on it that you don't have to renew for 2 years, but the laptop is yours when you leave the workshop. Now, that's scheduled. It's on Eventbrite. It's also on our website, on our Facebook, all those, whenever those sessions are. And I can tell you that they are locked up through November 9th, I believe. But I believe there's one on November 19th. So just check those out, because those are things, if you don't have any kind of accounting system for your small business, this would be excellent for you to go and get that one-day training, receive the laptop with the software on it. But also there's a 2-day workshop that's coming up that you'll need to be sign up for and register, because it'll give you 2 days of training in QuickBooks, which will be very, very, very beneficial to you. That one day will get you started. It'll get all your customers loaded, your vendors, and they'll show you how to, I mean, just kind of an overview of showing you how to get your payroll started. But you will really need the 2-day workshop. Okay. And so with that 2-day workshop, that'll be the one that'll really help you get really going on that. And we really want you to have that. So just think about those, and you can check all of this out on our website. Now, at this time, actually, I would really love to see if there are any questions. And if there are questions, you can unmute yourself. I think, Bree, you can let me know. Can they unmute themselves, or do they have to put them in the chat?
No, they have to put them in the chat or the QA.
Okay.
And we do actually have one question already.
Okay.
What is the cost for the QuickBooks seminar with the laptop and the 2-day workshop?
Okay, so the 1 day with the laptop and software, it's only $15. You're only paying for lunch. So when you go to Eventbrite, it's $15 because it's part of a grant. And you pay the $15, you register for the class. And I can tell you, we only have 7 to 8 in that class. In each of those, because there's actual training. It's actually getting your business up on QuickBooks. And also they're putting your vendors and all the information that you bring, they're actually loading that in for you into QuickBooks. So it's $15 for that one. And if you are a partner or a client of the Nebraska Enterprise Fund, the 2-day class, which is normally like $400, is only $59 for you. And if you're not a partner, we have some scholarships that you can get it for $79. So either way, it's very cost effective for you and very beneficial for your business, because this will help you keep good records, you know, because QuickBooks records everything. Everything that's done in QuickBooks is there. Okay, I hope that answered the questions for them. And we can take some more questions, and then we can get back into other things that they want to talk about. Okay.
Anybody have any other questions? You can put them in the Q&A feature or in chat.
Mm-hmm. And then while they're doing that, I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that we are doing. Now, on November 17th, I know some of the businesses may be at that point where they're ready to scale or get to that next level. So on November 17th, and it's going to be held at the venue at Highlander, which is 2112 North 30th Street, November 17th, we will be, there's going to be probably about 40 people that can attend that because of the social distancing. We had an event there last month in October. We had probably about 45 people that attended that. We had all the tables social distance. Everyone wore masks the whole time. And so we haven't, you know, as far as we know, we took fever checks when they came in. So we took care, and we were on point with all of the CDC guidelines. Now, on the 17th, we will be spending 90 minutes with Jonathan Galicia. He owns Primo Galicia. He is a master at getting businesses scaled and ready to move forward. He gets them out of no man's land if they're stuck and move them forward. So if you're available, and there's no cost for that, it is free. But we will, like I said, there's only like 40 people that will be able to attend that. So you want to go out and register for that as soon as you can. And it's out on Eventbrite. And I believe we may have posted it on our website and our Facebook page. So that's something you don't want to miss. Whenever you can get free education for your business, free information, you want to go and get it. Don't let these things pass you by because you think, oh, I don't need to get that now. No, the only way that your business is going to be something is that you have to make it something. And if it's not moving in the direction you want to, you have to move it in that direction. So, and you do that by getting the right information from the right sources so that you can make informed decisions moving forward. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, they said, how can we move the needle? You can move the needle by getting your business to a point where you're able to hire people. Because when you begin to hire people in your business, you begin to profit more. Those families begin to change. I mean, it changes everything. So we want to get you to a point where you can hire. You don't want to have to do all this work yourself. Get to a point where we can grow that business. So now we can hire 1 or 2 people out of the community or wherever, so that we can continue to grow. And that's how we grow and make things better, change our communities, change whatever. So, I mean, I think you want to make sure that you're getting great information. And I believe that over the past few years, we have given out a ton of good information, and we're still doing that. And we want to do that. We want to see you successful. So get the information and the stuff that you need. Now, I think there's a question, Bree, and I can take that.
Yes. So are there any seminars for first-time business owners?
Great question. So we have a workshop that is called, Is Owning a Business a Good Fit? And in that particular workshop, it does allow you to, it provokes you to think. So it brings you a lot of things to place. It's fantastic for someone that's just starting out. I think that they want to go into business, because if it does nothing else, it gives you information that you can use, that you can apply in your search for finding out whether or not you want to start a business. And then there's one that comes right behind it, which is called planning for a healthy business. So when you think about starting a business, there's research that you have to do. And we really want you to do that research. So do that research, search out the industry that you're trying to go into, look at and do market analysis on that. Those are things that are critical for you to be successful if you open up this business. And also looking at, the demand, making sure that there's demand for it. Okay. And then by taking that first one, which is owning a business a good fit, is going to give you a bunch of knowledge. I mean, knowledge that will help you, that things that you haven't thought about. And then to take right after that one, the planning for a healthy business, is going to be key for you understanding what you'll need to do in order to keep your business healthy. And by that, I mean record keeping, making sure that you have that in place, making sure your finances are healthy, making sure that you're marketing to the right audience for what you're offering, things like that. So yes, we do have that. And we also have a roundtable, which is for small business. And you can certainly check that out as well. And we meet once a month. So if you want to be in that roundtable, just let me know, because it's kind of, it's not advertised, but we're working with individuals to help them grow their business. And we're using it to cross-train other businesses. So it would be something great for you to be involved in. Great question. Great question. So I want to talk a little more, because I talked a little bit about the QuickBooks, and I know that we will have QuickBooks training even after, even in December. There's some QuickBooks training as well. The business resumption, which is one of the workshops you need for the one grant that we have called Getting Back to Business. I know that we have a workshop this week. I don't know if that's filled up or not, and that is on Zoom. I know also that we have several for this month and also in December. And I believe that if you're going to try and get part of this first round grant, I believe that the application deadline is November 13th. So if you're needing information on that, please don't hesitate to call that number 402-685-5500. And you want to select the one that's for training and client development, I believe. It's extension 201. So make sure that you go and you do that, because I think that'll be more beneficial to you. And then also today, if you're available at 4:30, we're going to be talking about how to write that plan, basically what goes into the business resumption. Okay, and there'll just be some tips that you'll be able to use to help you write your plan, because we've seen some people that have filled out the application, they sent the application, they didn't send a plan, and one's not going to work without the other. And so you do need the plan written for your specific business. And remember, it's not going to be like, it may not be like anybody else's, because your business is specific. So your business resumption plan is going to be specific to what you need for your particular business. So let's talk about that for a minute. For instance, if you are a salon, you have a small salon, you have 3 or 4 chairs, and you have independent individuals that come in. However, what happens? What are the key things that you would have to get going if there's an interruption? And you want to write those procedures out. That's really what we're talking about. What is it that you need in order to get your business up and running after a disaster or an interruption? Okay. And that entails a lot of things. It entails your insurance. It entails making sure you have the right financials. So you want to be able to talk about that. So at 4:30 today, there will be a workshop. And I think you can come in, you can get the information, and we'll it's 2 hours, but 1 hour we'll go through everything, and then those can get off. And then the next hour, people that couldn't do it at 4:30 will be able to jump on at 5:30 and get the information. So it'll be open for 2 hours. You can ask all the questions you need. We'll walk through a business resumption plan so you can understand what it really is. I really want you guys to see this is a $5,000 grant. So obviously you want to put some good stuff into your plan and making sure that it's one of the ones that'll be selected, okay? But it's a $5,000 grant. They're just asking you to write your plan, fill out the application, and then submit that in, okay? And then we can take other questions. If there are other questions that you need, just let me know, and we can talk about that. I want to move on a little bit and talk a little bit about financials, because financials are really, really important. Today, our speaker was going to talk about pricing. And I know that there are a lot of individuals who have pricing on their mind, because they'll call and they'll say, I just don't know how to price this. And although I'm not the expert in pricing, but I just want to touch on it a little bit. When you start to look at your products and you're thinking about what you need to price, I'll tell you a story, because I remember working with an individual who did a lot of baking, and she did cooking. So she sold these big, beautiful cakes out of her home, and she also sold different dinners and things like that. And what I realized was that her prices were so low, and she really thought that she was making a lot of money. But after working with her for about 3 months and getting her to write down all of the ingredients, That was really hard because when you love doing something, you oftentimes forget to put in the labor that you put into it, your time. And if you're not putting that in your pricing, especially for a product that you're doing yourself, if you're not putting your time and your labor into that price, then you are losing. What I found out with her was that she loved what she was doing. She loved cooking and all this stuff. And so her cakes were like $9 and $10. They were 3 and 4 layer, beautiful cakes that you could get from um, any baker. And so after working with her and showing her her laws, and it had to go down to every ingredient that you used. What are the ingredients? How, and for her to have to brainstakingly say how much flour, sugar, and butter was really hard for her, but she really did it. And once she did it, she realized how much she was losing. And so you want to make sure that when you're pricing things, you want to price them appropriately. And you don't want to make sure that they're priced higher than anywhere else because, people would think that, well, you know what, it's all about the money. Now, I'm not saying that you underprice your stuff. No, you want to price it appropriately. Put your time, your labor, and that stuff in it, add whatever you need to, and give it an appropriate price. And then look at the industry that this particular product or service is in and see what the pricing is for that industry. And then adjust because you'll find some lower and some higher. You want to come in the middle, right? Come in the middle and don't say, well, if I do this, it won't be my customer. Well, they're not your customer anyway. If they don't see the value in your product or service, they are not your customer yet. Okay, so just remember those are things that you kind of have to think about when you're thinking about pricing a product and when you're doing those particular things. It's really important to make sure that your pricing is comparable, that it makes sense, that it's not overpriced. I was talking to someone about these bags, and for 550 bags, they still wanted like over $10. I was like, they don't really want to make the sale. And it turns out they really didn't realize they didn't want to make the sale because they came back after I went somewhere else and said, oh, well, we could probably, for 550 bags, we could probably do it for like $4. Like, too late. But anyway, you have to think about these things because if you overprice stuff, people won't go for it either. But in the interim of all of this, if you have a small business and you just want to sit down and talk to someone about, where you want to go, talk about your goals for that business, I would suggest that you even give us a call at Nebraska Enterprise Fund because we sit down, we brainstorm with businesses. We listen at your idea. We can make suggestions. We don't force anything on you. We really want you to make the decision that you have to make for your business, but we want to make sure that you know all the resources that are available to you, making sure that you can get the best out there so that you get the right information and you can move forward in your business. It's really important to understand too that no matter where you're going or what you're trying to do, if you have good information, you can make good decisions going forward. And don't be afraid to ask the question because if you don't ask a question that you need to know, you've lost right there. So making sure that you ask the right questions to the right people, make sure you get all the information you need so that you can move forward. And trying to do that. Are there any other questions at this point in time?
I'm not seeing any at the moment.
Okay, great. And so are there any things that you guys would like to know like now about, small business, and it could be anything. It could be on your financials, on marketing, how to communicate professionally when you're talking to other vendors and suppliers. I would be happy to do that. Because Bree, if not, I think that I'm probably at the end. Oh, there's a question. Great. It looks like you have a question out there.
Oh yeah, they're just wanting the website in chat, and I can do that here in just a second.
Okay, great. Yeah, if you put that in, and also Bree, if you put my info in there as well.
Sure, I can do
wonderful. That would be fantastic. And again, if there's anything that you need in the way of getting your business off the ground, you're just starting out and you need resources, please feel free to give us a call. We're more than happy to help you with that. But then there's also other resources. So just so that you know, there's SCORE, which is Jim I think most of all of us in NEF are SCORE counselors as well. But SCORE is available to answer any questions, to meet with you. They have sessions as well. And so you want to make sure that you check out, just make sure you're getting to all the resources that are available to you so that you can make the decisions that you need to make, that you're informed on what's out there and what's available. So SCORE has a lot of workshops that they do as well. So does the SBA. They have a lot of workshops that they do also. So just look at those things and check it out and see what works for you. The information is there. And thanks to DoSpace for allowing us to even bring this information to you. But we're happy to do that. We're very happy to make sure that you have the information you need. And is there anything else? Doesn't look like it, Bree. Okay, so if there's no other questions, I want to thank DoSpace for allowing us to come together and talk on this subject. I know it didn't last as long as we wanted to, but I want to make sure you had some key information, especially on those grants. And so make sure you go and check out the grants, check out the one for the QuickBooks training, as well as the Getting Back to Business. Okay, and I think that'll be really beneficial for you to get you started and get you going in the right direction.
And then I'll add that Nebraska Enterprise Fund is not doing 2 webinars this month because the last week of the month is, of course, Thanksgiving. So
that's right.
They'll be back with us on December 4th, I believe.
I believe so, yes.
For Facebook ads. So
Yes.
if you have interest in social media marketing and Facebook ads, please join them for that because it's always a really good presentation.
And thanks again to DoSpace. We really appreciate you guys a lot. So thank you so much for that.
BC,
Yeah.
We do have a question.
Okay.
Is the grant info on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
The grant info is on our website. And if you go to business, I think it's under the tab of business resources, and then there's a drop down box. And so just so you know, the app, oh, did I say that?
I found it. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in chat for everybody.
Okay. And also on that application, I believe it says if you've received like PPP or EIDL that you wouldn't be eligible, but please continue, just fill it out because we have more than one grant. So you may not be eligible for this one grant that we have that is specifically for those who did not receive this, but we can move you into a different category of a grant that we have. So please fill it out anyway, fill out all the information, and then go to the workshop so you can be able to submit everything together. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to make sure they knew. Yeah, because it is available, and it's available to any small business. Okay, and I know there's some income guidelines on there, but I think if when it says there's income guidelines, that means that it's under a certain amount. So anyway, just go out and fill out that application. If you need more information, please feel free to let us know. We'd be more than happy to help.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Doesn't look like it. So I think we're going to sign off for today. Thanks everybody for coming.
Yes, thanks. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.